Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Wednesday, January 8th.
2 days away from the weekend, everybody. It's cold outside this morning. Justin Horn will have your forecast coming up in a minute.
We like our jobs.
I love my job. If bosses, if you're listening, I love my job.
Very appreciative, pays pretty well, but U.S. News and World Report has just released the latest rankings on the best jobs to have in this new year.
Yeah, perhaps you're in college or about to go to college and you're looking at what you should study, or you're just looking for a new job. So here you go. The 100 best jobs. We're just going to give you the top 5. The top 5: software developer is number 1, dentist is number 2, physician assistant number 3, orthodontist number 4, and nurse practitioner number 5.
If you're wondering what are the best paying jobs, anesthesiologist, surgeon, oral or facial surgeon, obstetrician, and gynecologist. And number 5 is orthodontist.
I don't see journalist on there anywhere.
Not on there.
Not on there.
Not
Okay.
sure network, maybe.
Best healthcare jobs: dentist. Dentist is making a lot of these. Physician assistant, orthodontist, nurse practitioner once again, and physician.
Best business jobs: number 1, statistician.
Really? Medical and health services manager.
Number 3 is mathematician.
Operations research analyst.
And the number 5 best business job right now in the new year: financial manager. Lots of need for those going forward as the population continues to age.
So either the health industry or you need to know numbers.
Right. And you're onto something, though. I mean, if you're interested in dentistry of any kind, that's going to continue to be a hot profession.
Yeah, dentistry and nurse practitioners, big time too. So there you go. If you're looking for a job or going to school, that's what you should study. Let's look at your rundown.
Tragedy in Tehran. At least 176 people on board a passenger plane died when the Ukraine-bound Boeing aircraft crashed shortly after takeoff.
Fotis Doulos arrested Tuesday, charged with murder, felony murder, and kidnapping. Jennifer Doulos, his 50-year-old estranged wife, disappeared in May.
President Trump has signed an emergency declaration for Puerto Rico, clearing the way for aid. The island's second earthquake in as many days destroyed homes, schools, and churches along the southern coast.
Hill Country Village police are waiting to speak to a victim in the hospital after they say he was shot while in a parking lot yesterday evening. Police say it happened near 281 in San Pedro around 9:30 last night.
A family has been rounding up these koalas and driving them to safety. An estimated 500 million wild animals have died. Conditions are expected to get worse in the coming days.
With the current political atmosphere, she expects 25% of Bexar County's nearly 1.25 million registered voters to vote early. That's a higher than usual turnout. The additional early voting sites include UTSA, Texas A&M San Antonio, and Northwest Vista.
Facebook taking aim at deep fakes, the site banning certain types of the controversial videos which have been altered to make people do or say something they did not.
Google Assistant will soon be able to read web pages to you. Users will just have to say, "Hey Google, read this page."
Alexandria Woolston gave birth to 2 sets of twins in 1 year.
Holy
She had
cow.
Kaylin and Caleb on December 27, 9 months after big brothers Mark and Malachi.
Mom says it was fate. 2 men from Mississippi had glued the winning numbers onto a losing ticket
No,
to make
guys.
it look like they'd won $100,000.
The men allegedly brought the altered ticket to lottery headquarters, where officials immediately knew it was a fake.
Really?
Are they new at playing lottery? Do they not know there's a little barcode up there that is scanned to confirm it's a winning ticket?
That is a head scratcher.
Wow. Let's take a look outside with live cam. Things that make you go,
So many questions, so many.
Maybe questions.
Let's go outside for you. We've got clear skies right now as we look over our beautiful downtown. Temperatures a little chilly. We're in the 40s right now. We started off pretty cold this morning. A lot of places did get down below freezing. 46 degrees at the airport currently, 33 Kerrville, 46 in Rock Springs, 47 in Del Rio, and calm winds. Dew point is down there at 32, so still some pretty dry air, but that's going to change later today. We're going to get some more moisture in here, some cloud cover too. Let's take a look at the lows this morning. We got down to 34 here in San Antonio, 30 Hondo, 25 Kerrville, 31 in New Braunfels. So several spots there below freezing. And as we look at the visible satellite, there are some clouds too off to the west. A little cloud deck trying to move in. We're not seeing that here in town, at least not yet. Pollen count is in. Mountain cedars in the high category. This is a huge improvement, though, from where it was yesterday. 7,830. Mold is moderate. And the forecast calls for 63 by 2 o'clock, 66 by 4 o'clock. Mostly cloudy skies later this evening. and a lot more clouds tomorrow, maybe some morning fog and drizzle too. Then we'll have to look for the chance for some thunderstorms Friday. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes. Guys?
Thank you, Justin.
410
and Fredericksburg right now. SAPD on the scene. Looks like we've got a multi-vehicle accident out there. Traffic slowing in that area.
Iran promised to hit back, and they did, targeting military bases in Iraq where U.S. troops are housed.
Attack early this morning, retaliation for that U.S. drone strike that killed General Qasem Soleimani. President Trump is expected to hold a press conference around 10 o'clock this morning to address the latest attack.
CNN's Daryl Forges has more on the U.S. response.
It's a back and forth between Iran and the United States. But the big question now is, what will the United States do next?
Well, we just gave them a slap in the face last night.
Early Wednesday morning, Iran launched more than a dozen ballistic missiles at 2 military bases in Iraq, housing U.S. military and coalition forces. Retaliation, they say, for last week's killing of Iran's top general. Now the world waits for President Donald Trump's response. Following the attacks, he tweeted, quote, "All is well. So far, so good." Many lawmakers are hoping the lack of casualties will sway the president's mind away from a harsh retaliation.
The fact that there's no known casualties gives him greater latitude in the way that he responds to this particular attack.
He recognizes that this was intentional by the Iranians to hit near the air bases and in unpopulated areas as a way to tell their domestic population, we hit back, but to not cross the line of killing Americans.
But Senator Lindsey Graham, a major ally to Trump, told Fox News,
"This was an act of war. The president has all the authority he needs under Article 2 to respond."
Iran's foreign minister called the attack a proportionate measure in self-defense. And Iran's Revolutionary Guard warned if the United States retaliates, quote, "We will respond to you in America." And President Trump is expected to comment on the matter sometime today. In Atlanta, I'm Daryl Forges.
Back here at home, top stories we're following for you today. 2 men are in serious condition this morning after a shooting at an apartment complex on the northwest side.
Shooting happened around 9 p.m. in the 4,000 block of Sherrillbrook. That's near Broadview Drive and Bandera Road. Police tell us the 2 men were sitting outside when they got into a fight with 2 other men in the apartment's courtyard. Officers say at some point someone pulled out a gun and the victims were shot.
Police say the men have serious injuries, but they are expected to survive. Right now, they're still looking for 2 suspects. And taking a look at your morning headlines, there's a lot going on here in the U.S. and around the world, from another earthquake in Puerto Rico to the latest tech advancements from the Consumer Electronics Show.
Well, we start our morning headlines with the latest out of Iraq and the Middle East. The same tensions continue with the United States continue to rise. And then there was that deadly plane crash just outside Tehran. Max Massey joins us in this studio. Max, what do we know about that crash as of right now?
Tragic.
Very tragic. Good morning, guys. We know that there were 176 people on board that plane at the time of takeoff, and right now, no expected survivors. Now, it was a Ukrainian passenger jet that crashed early this morning, just minutes after taking off for the Iranian capital's main airport. The wreck turning farmland on the outskirts of Tehran into fields of flaming debris. Iranian officials say they suspect a mechanical issue that brought down the 3.5-year-old Boeing aircraft. Now, Ukrainian officials initially agreed with Iran, but later backed away and now declining to offer a cause while the investigation is still ongoing. On board, there were citizens of Iran, Canada, Ukraine, several other nations, but no Americans. And in Puerto Rico, people now dealing with damage and devastation in the aftermath of multiple earthquakes. Now, there's now a state of emergency in place after those multiple earthquakes and aftershocks that rocked the island. A 6.4 magnitude tremor leveling businesses, homes, damaging schools and churches, even leaving 1 man dead. Emergency crews now dealing with that aftermath. A massive rock slide on a highway. Authorities in Puerto Rico now saying most of the island will have power by the end of the week. Hundreds still in shelters, many in tents, still afraid to go inside. And in the state of Washington, nearly 1,000 Seattle students might not be allowed to go back to class today. Now, almost after these students still have not provided vaccination records or vaccination exemptions. According to Washington's immunization law, January 8th is the deadline for students to be compliant with this law. Seattle public schools say immunizations compliance means being fully vaccinated in the process or having a signed certificate of exemption. The school district says that if students do not have their records, and they can't come to school, and their parents will be called.
The principals have the list, and then when the student comes to school, They will be asked to wait in a separate area until we can get a hold of their families so they can come and collect their kid, and we hope to make a plan with them there and then.
And we mentioned those exemptions. Right now, only religious and medical exemptions are allowed. And if you think technology is cool, listen up, because it really doesn't get much cooler than CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. Two cool new innovations that you might start seeing in airports. The Segway S-Pod that balances on its own without the need to lean forward or backward, speed up or slow down like most riders do with the standard Segway. And an S-Pod can go up to 24 miles per hour. Next up, the Moto Bag, which, if you're at the airport, it usually does all the carrying, complete with a seat for you to ride on top of it. Its inventors say the bag can go more than 6 miles on one single charge at the speed of 8 miles an hour. And if you're feeling lazy, it can carry a person of up to 260 pounds. It has 1,800 cubic inches of space to pack luggage. Only issue I see, price tag.
I have a couple of other issues for you.
Okay.
First of all, with both of those things, it's already so crowded in airports, you're bumping into each other trying to walk. How is that going to work if everybody's on one of those?
Going to be like bumper cars.
And how much does it weigh? How do you pack it back up to put it in your overhead compartment?
Ooh, that's true.
There are many problems here, Max Massey.
So, Leslie, you're not going to be buying one of these anytime soon?
No, I will not be buying one of those, but I do want to kind of try out that little Segway chair.
The Segway chair looks cool, but it also looks like the scene from Austin Powers. It looks like a Dr. Evil
Oh
chair.
my goodness,
really
it does. That's
Yes.
so hilarious.
The only difference, Dr. Evil was not wearing a helmet. Oh, yeah, from the movie Wall-E. Jamie, our director, just mentioned that, too.
That is so. Oh, and you're coming back?
Coming back.
We're going to tease that in a little bit. All right, thanks, Max.